The Westlund family is always on the go, and with a 2-year-old, they have very little time for renovation. 6 months ago, the Westlunds moved into a bank-owned property that's been sitting vacant for 2 years. With signs of neglect, it's clear their landscaping is going to need a professional.
Our first reaction to the house is the landscaping was definitely going to be a challenge.
Dead plants, out-of-control weeds, and a bare front yard makes this home the neighborhood eyesore. So, designer Matt Garner was called to give life to this dead front yard.
I'm Matt Garner. I'm co-owner of Tropic Scapes Landscaping. I'm also the landscape designer. I sit with clients and estimate the jobs for them and come up with the landscape blueprints for the landscape projects. My first thought when I got to the house was there were a lot of plants that were in the wrong place, which is generally what happens most of the time. Weeds and dead shrubs and things like that, trees that needed to be trimmed up. But I immediately had a vision of what I thought would look good when we walked up, and areas where the beds could be opened up and changed to give them a lot nicer curb appeal that they'd really enjoy. Well, when I first met the Westlunds in our office, I could see that they had some definite ideas for the landscaping. As a matter of fact, we had a few specimens like the Japanese blueberry and the ligustrum that they really took a liking to.
We would really like the landscaping to give the house some character. When we looked at doing this project ourselves, my husband and I just felt very overwhelmed by all the many plant choices that were out there, and we really needed some help to help us narrow down what choices would work the best for us.
Yeah, picking the right plant is really important for the landscape style, and especially the homeowners, what their lifestyle is, what they would like to see. And also you want to complement the architecture of the home, which is really, really important. Not hiding windows if necessary. Things that are going to complement the house and also the amount of maintenance that a homeowner wants to see.
We're a very busy family and we're always on the go. We don't want anything that's going to take a lot of maintenance, a lot of work, and we want something that's not going to freeze in the winter. Every so often Florida has those freezes. The meeting with Mac turned out great. We were really set at ease. Mac is such a personable guy to talk to, really knows what he's talking about with the landscaping, gave us a lot of new ideas and creative thought process, like the ligustrum tree. I never would have thought of putting that in our yard. Now he's headed back to the design center, and I can't wait to see what the whole thing is going to look like in the end.
Hey Kevin, good to see you again.
Nice to see you.
How are you?
Good.
Hey, this is the design I got for you guys.
Excellent.
Take a look. First of all, this graphic right here designates your magnolia tree that's here. That's going to be staying. Underneath, I've designed the yellow bush daisies to give you a pop of yellow on that corner. And then, as we kind of creep along this paver area right here, I've got some of the red Ixora, which would give you some color all year long too. And as a center point of the house right here, something that can be maintained at a smaller shape, so it doesn't have to get enormous, would be a ligustrum tree. As we transition to the walkway, I have got the 3 glory bushes that will help give you some of that beautiful deep purple color in the summer months on these guys on the corner here. And on the to anchor both sides of the garage, which is really important, we've used Japanese blueberries starting at 3 foot in height. Now, as we go into the courtyard here, you do have a real tight space. With a lot of homes nowadays have that real small space. A lot of people don't know what to do with it. They either put rock in there and then you don't put plants, or the plants that they do put in there basically overgrow the walkway. And then when you cut them back, they look horrible. My suggestions are going with a plant called a Firepower Nandina. The Nandina is an awesome plant that is evergreen, but in the fall months, it'll actually turn those fall colors with the reds and the yellows, oranges. And then as we walk in, to give you some transition from the interior space to out, using some of the white colors, I'd suggested a ground cover called the Variegated Asian Jasmine, and then up through there that would give you some red color off and on all year long. We're suggested using a red knockout rose tree here, so you would have that great uplift of a standard small tree form with that variegation underneath that would really fill in right there. Now in your case, you guys have decided you want to go with the red lava rock as a ground cover, which is very beautiful. So we want to make this planting a little bit more open so that we do see that look of the rock. So but what we've done to layer it still in that effect is to take this background area that gets a lot of shade, It's going to be cold hardy for you and go with the white Formosa azaleas.
So it looks like you took this the paving, you extended it out a little bit.
I did. I had suggested leaving this area, but the area right now is a very tight angle around this magnolia. So what we want to do, you want a smooth transition from the yard to the paver to the planting. So what this does is help soften that corner. By bringing that out, it also creates a little bit larger space that makes your landscaping look larger too. Out here around the tree, what we want to do, you do have the pavers there, but we want to expand that bed a little bit larger. Couple of reasons. One, it just looks a lot nicer as the tree grows, the trunk matures. Also, a lot of the ground roots that you have from the oak tree are going to be covered up by the mulch. So if you like that, you guys think everything looks good, we're anxious to get started and create a new yard for you guys. As we approach this project, we see that there's a lot of removals that have to be done. We have to remove all the dead bushes that are here, the weeds, and also the existing mulch, which is 2 or 3 mulches combined. We're going to take all of that out, get that all cleared out. We're going to prep the ground, get that raked out, and we're also going to test the irrigation system, make sure all the sprinklers are going on. And then once we do that, we're going to lay down what's called a filter fabric or a weed mat before we begin planting.
Right now the guys have prepped the ground, they've taken all the old mulch out, they've taken all the plant material out, and we're amending the soil with some new planting soil. And once we get it all spread out and level, then we're going to get our weed mat, we're going to put it down, and then we'll be ready to install the plants.
Troy's my business partner in Tropic Scapes. He's also the project manager. So once I meet with the clients, we develop a design. Troy and I sit down and go over that, and I hand the baton to him, and he takes over the project and oversees all of the installation from beginning to completion.
Installation was seamless. I went to work one morning and I came back to a completely beautiful new landscape design. The guys had left everything perfectly clean. You couldn't even tell that there had been a work crew there that morning.
When the Westlunds got home, they absolutely loved their new landscaping. In fact, they said it was such a dramatic change that the neighbors walked out of their way to admire it. Success stories like this are what we strive to achieve. Not every home is the same. You may want an Asian garden, a tropical paradise, or simply a traditional landscaping. No matter the size or the style, we approach each project like it's our own home. So give us a call and you'll find we're a creative landscape company that is honest and dependable. We'll meet with you and make your experience with Tropic Scapes one to always remember.